remember the events of September 11th, 2001. Reverend?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, Mr. Congressman, wait a minute. Commissioners and staff and citizens, let us lift our spirits. All that is holy, loving, sacred, and true. May we be grateful for freedom and democracy, for the freedom to come here, be represented by our elected officials. May we be grateful for liberty and justice for all. May we be grateful for peace on earth and goodwill toward all. May we be mindful of this date and of the tragic events of 11 years ago today on 9/11. May we be mindful of the families and friends of the victims who still undoubtedly suffer. May we be mindful that not everyone, everywhere, has freedom, democracy, and liberty and justice for all, and certainly not peace on earth, but will toward all. May we be hopeful that one day all people will have freedom, democracy, liberty, justice, and peace on earth. Now and forevermore, let it be, blessed be, so be it, and amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, everyone. Can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Markowski? Here. Mayor Golan?
Here.
Commissioner Hood?
Here.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Here.
Commissioner German?
Here.
Commissioner Maringo? Commissioner Turnquist?
Here. May we have consent, please?
Approval of minutes, City Clerk. Summary request to approve minutes of the August 28th City Commission meeting. Staff recommendation, approval of the minutes. Certification of MERS representatives, finance. Summary request. The MERS plan document provides that the governing body for each municipality shall certify the names of 2 delegates to the annual meeting. 1 delegate shall be a member who is an officer of the municipality appointed by the governing body of the municipality. The other delegate shall be a member who is not an officer of the municipality, elected by the member, officer, employees of the municipality. The city's employee units have agreed to a rotating system based on date of joining MERS to select 1 official employee representative. This year, the official employee representative attending the MERS conference will be Steve Tunis, the water filtration supervisor from the non-union employee group. It is recommended that Elizabeth Lewis, Assistant Finance Director, be designated as the city's employer delegate. Staff recommendation, certification of Elizabeth Lewis and Steve Tunis to be the city's officer and employee delegates at the MERS annual conference in Grand Rapids on October 3rd through 5th. Consumers Energy Street Lighting Contract, City Manager. Summary request to approve a new street lighting contract with Consumers Energy. Staff recommendation to approve the contract and authorize the mayor and clerk to execute it. Authorization to submit bids to HUD for the purchase of homes offered to government agencies, community neighborhood services. Summary request to offer bids to HUD via their website for HUD homes available to government agencies. Specifically, homes located in East Muskegon, Glenside, Campbell, and Bluffton that can be rehabilitated and sold to income-eligible households through the City of Muskegon Community Neighborhood Services Department Home Buyers Program. Staff recommendation to authorize the Director of Community Neighborhood Services the ability to bid on homes owned by HUD in the neighborhoods of Campbell, East Muskegon, Glenside, and Bluffton for the city's Home Buyer Program 2013. Next Michigan appointments to Next Michigan Board, Planning and Economic Development. Summary request. On August 22nd, 2012, the Michigan Strategic Fund, MSF, Board of Directors approved the designation of the West Michigan Economic Partnership, WMEP, as a Next Michigan Development Corporation. Each of the 7 units of government who are part of the designation, including the City of Muskegon and Muskegon County, must appoint a board member and an alternate board member. The WMEP board member will attend the meetings and vote on matters that come before the board. However, all meetings are open to the public, and any item affecting the City of Muskegon will first be brought to the City Commission for approval, including budget items that affect city incentives provided to developers and businesses, the areas designated for incentives, etc. Staff recommendation to appoint Kathy Brubaker Clark, Director of Community and Neighborhood Services, as the City of Muskegon WMEP board member, and Mike Franzik, zoning administrator, as the City of Muskegon alternate member.
Thank you. Commissioners, you've heard the consent agenda. Are there any items you'd like to have removed or any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Winterbuck.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
It has been moved by Commissioner Maringo, seconded by Commissioner Wood, to accept the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Not, roll call, please.
Mayor Gowron,
Yes.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
Commissioner Durman,
Yes.
Commissioner Maringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Public hearings, please.
Community Neighborhood Services Department Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, CAPR 2011, Community Neighborhood Services. Summary request to conduct a public hearing of the 2011 CAPR projects funded through CDBG and home entitlements to the City of Muskegon Community Neighborhood Services Department. Staff recommendation to submit the 2011 CAPR, including any public comments received during the 30-day comment period ending September 28, 2012.
Are there any members of the public that would like to address the commission or staff immediately available? Should there be any questions from the public? Please, if you would approach the podium and give your name and address.
My name is Liz Blocker. I live at 1387 Montgomery in Muskegon. First, I'd like to compliment Anita and her staff on the fine job that they've done with the funds that we have received. Caper, I love the new format. It's short, concise, easy to read. It shows what we've done, but it also shows just how much more we need to do and how much more, if there's any way that God could give us more funds, right? Because we desperately need the funds. There's so many people in this economy that need the help of community and neighborhood services. So, kudos to Anita, and good luck with next year.
Thank you, Liz. Are there any other members of the public who would like to address this item? If not, I'd entertain a motion to Vice Mayor Spataro.
Thank you. I would move that we close, make sure I do this, close the public hearing and do we approve the paper at this point, or do we just extend the public comment?
I would say just extend the public comment here at the end of the month, and also on Thursday for anyone watching, we are going to have another public hearing in the morning at 10 o'clock. So if there are questions, if you go to our website and you're reading and you have some questions about it, you're welcome to come this Thursday here in the Commissioner Chambers and we can answer the questions you have at that time. But we'll accept comments until the 28th of September.
And then submit.
And then we'll submit any comments that we receive.
So thank you for that clarification. So I would move we close the public hearing and submit the 2011 paper, including any public comments receiving during the 30-day comment period ending September 28, 2012.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Spataro, seconded by Commissioner Maringo, to close the public hearing and to submit the 2011 CAPR, including any public comments received during the 30-day comment period ending September 28, 2012. Any comments or discussion from the commission? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Waringo,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski,
Yes.
Mayor Gowron.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. New business, please.
Special event request, City of the Dead tour at Evergreen Cemetery, October 26 and 27, 2012, planning economic development. Summer request, Harbor Unitarian Universalist Congregation is requesting permission to hold their third annual historic tour reenactment at Evergreen Cemetery on October 26 and 27, 2012. Staff recommendation, none.
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we may begin discussion. I would move that we approve the special event request, City of the Dead tour of Evergreen Cemetery for October's 26th and 27th, as described in the application.
Moved by Vice Mayor Spataro, seconded by Commissioner Hood, to approve the City of the Dead tour of Evergreen Cemetery, October 26th to 27th. Discussion. Commissioner Turnquist.
Yeah, I had a tough time with this last night while we were talking about it, and I was swayed by a letter that was read from the attorney that they had come to a compromise. Now we've received another letter that kind of takes that away from it. It describes it, well, the person that's been involved is against it, and I still have a feeling that the cemetery is a place of quiet rest and everything, and what they're doing, reenacting things of famous people, having to be done at night and close to Halloween, I still find it offensive.
We do have a member of the public, Mr. Jennings. I have two items. If you would just address the City of the Dead item at this period, and then your second item with public comment after.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was embarrassed on another occasion for speaking out of turn.
And we will need your name and address.
Okay, so my name is Robert Jennings. I live at 3553 Marina View Point in Muskegon. It's a stone's throw from the deceased H.H. pub. In my opinion, cemeteries are respected, protected areas. It's the ground laid out and reserved expressly for the interment of deceased. So respected are these areas that vandalism of cemeteries is considered a serious crime, and severe punishments are meted out to those who choose to disregard the sacredness of those burial grounds. In my opinion, theatrical events, and not discounting the validity of purpose here, I'm well acquainted with Unitarian Universalist Church in Harbortown. I am a Unitarian Universalist myself. I know many fine people who attend there, and they have high morals and certainly are responsible citizens. Having said that, I believe that hosting a theatrical event at a cemetery is morally and ethically wrong. I view it as a desecration of these holy places by loved ones and relatives and mourners who go and expect a place of quiet and reverence for those interned there. Now, there could be alternatives to this program. We have the Hackley Library, we have NIM School, we have the Hackley Building, and Hackley Park that already has a stage. There's Moon School, among other locations in the city where these events could be held without upsetting or insulting or hurting the feelings of those who have loved ones buried in that cemetery. There's a moment of silence today for the people who perished at 9/11. There's some military, naval personnel included in those people. There are vets buried in this cemetery that we're looking at, and I would consider it to be a slap in the face against the honor of those who have served our country. I'm also greatly dismayed by remarks uttered by some of the city commissioners. I feel that they were speaking of their own values and not considering the values and wishes and considerations of the residents of Muskegon. Mark Twain said, "Always do right. This will gratify some people and astonish the rest." Thank you.
Mr. Jennings. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I may have been one of those people speaking out of my own perspective last night, and I think in light of the comments in the letter today, that I do want to make a remark. Because I am offended. When a person expresses based on their cultural values that they do not want something like this impacting their particular loved one, I can respect it. But when they say this group, meaning a local congregation of many years standing in this community, is not a church, and the reverend is not an ordained minister, and who's to determine that? This is the United States of America, where we have a plurality of religious belief. No one gets to judge others based on what we feel is the appropriate religious observance. As I said last night, this is not a religious cemetery. There are religious cemeteries in Muskegon and in Muskegon County where people of that particular faith can honor their loved ones in the way they deem appropriate. In a municipal cemetery where we have people from every faith and people from no faith at all who are interred there, we have to be willing to accommodate how each of us may choose to honor our ancestors and our loved ones. I come from a culture where doing activities like this is a sign of respect. And being told that I couldn't do it, now, I don't have anybody interred at Evergreen Cemetery, but I have gone and visited my relatives. We have shared food and song and so on with my relatives because that's an important part of my cultural heritage. And it angers me that we're being told no, because some people have a different cultural heritage, then all must conform to that particular cultural heritage. Now, this individual at the end of this event last year did have an attorney. And that attorney did negotiate with this group what I think is a reasonable compromise so that her values regarding her loved ones can be respected. And I think allowing this permit based on that negotiated compromise respects her values, but also the values of those of us who come from a different perspective or a different cultural or religious background. And I think in a municipal cemetery, we have to be respectful to all those different points of view, not just one, and not just say, well, there is some folks who are offended by this, and therefore none may honor their dead in their way. Thank you.
Any other comments from the commission or input? Not roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
No.
Commissioner Waringo?
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist?
No.
Commissioner Markowski?
Yes.
Mayor Gowern?
Yes.
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Can I just say on behalf of my church, I just want to thank you. And I do want to point out that I am an ordained minister. I went to school at Western Theological Seminary in Holland. I'm ordained in the United Church of Christ. I'm a minister at our Unitarian Universalist Congregation and Interfaith Congregation in Holland. Thanks again.
Item D, please.
Inspection Services Contract, City Manager, summary request to approve an agreement with Safe Built Michigan Incorporated to provide inspection services to the City of Muskegon and to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute the contract at the discretion of city staff on or after October 5th, 2012. Staff recommendation to approve the agreement with Safe Built of Michigan Incorporated and authorize the city staff to enter into the agreement at their discretion on or after October 5th, 2012.
Have a motion, please.
facilitate discussion, I would move that we approve the agreement with Safe Built of Michigan and authorize the city staff to enter into the agreement at their discretion on or after October 5th, 2012.
Do I have a second?
No public comment?
Did you second that, Commissioner? It has been moved by Vice Mayor Spataro, seconded by Commissioner Wieringo, to approve the agreement with Safe Built of Michigan Incorporated and authorize the city staff to enter into the agreement at their discretion on or after October 5th. Commissioner or Vice Mayor?
This is not normally something that I would be interested in. I'm a public employee myself. I know the mayor is, and we've taken a lot of hits over the years. But I have to deal with financial reality. One of the things that we've done over the years is try to pool our resources with our neighbors in order to provide a better level of service to our community, while also staying within what has been a shrinking budget. And the reality is we have less resources now than we did a decade ago. Our second largest taxpayer shut down 3 years ago and is in the process of being removed. Our largest taxpayer has announced they're going to be shutting down in 2015. Now, we can pretend that that reality doesn't exist and something may happen, or we can make changes now so that when 2015 comes along, we don't join the list of communities that need an emergency financial manager because hoping and wishing didn't get it done. This is, I think, a painful choice, but I think financially it is a necessary choice. It eliminates a carrying cost. It provides a robust service for this community, and hopefully will generate some positive cash flow based on how this contract is designed. So it is reluctantly that I support it, but quite frankly, I suspect we will be making additional difficult decisions like this over the next few years as the reality of our substantially reduced property tax base continues to roll on. So, thank you.
Any other comments from commissioners?
My question is, I thought when we looked at the budget in July, we made look at every possible aspect. When we looked at that budget, that each department was pretty much secure, that there wouldn't be any jobs or anything wouldn't be affected. When it comes to laying off and people in the community losing jobs, and these are labor jobs, and people in the city of Muskegon right now are still coming from the recession. I think outsourcing jobs limits you where you have very little control also if something happens. But if, I guess what I'm trying to say, if for some reason that things doesn't work out as planned, how much money would the city be actually saving outsourcing, this job?
Mr. Manager.
Right now, the city pays about $500,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, for the inspections department. Under this contract, we will no longer have the responsibility for those costs. Instead, the company that we're proposing to the contract with would retain 80% of those inspection fees, permit fees, and the city would provide the other 20%. So we would avoid the costs that we currently incur, and then in addition generate revenue to the city. And as I've indicated to the city commission, the proposal is to also lease space to them so we generate revenue from that as well. We would anticipate that we'll generate or save, if you well in excess of $100,000 on an annual basis. I think your question also included what would we do if it didn't work out. I guess it would be our determination as to whether it worked out or not. The contract is for 3 years, but we have a provision in the contract that we terminate the contract with notice, so that safeguard as well.
If that money is generated, would that be used to create other jobs?
Well, that money is general fund money, and so it would not necessarily generate jobs, but it would preserve jobs.
Also, another question is to workers that's currently employed right now, will they have an opportunity to have these, be considered for employment with this company? And this is not a local company in the state of Michigan, correct?
Well, the company that we're proposing to contract with is called Muskegon of Michigan, and they're based out of Colorado, but they have a presence in Michigan. Certainly, when we made a comment about outsourcing jobs and not having those jobs in our area, the company's going to have to hire people that will.
Any further questions, comments from the commissioners? I will recognize, Commissioner Wood.
I think that we discussed before, our inspectors would have an opportunity to be hired through this company.
The company has indicated as part of their proposal that they would consider the city's current inspection department employees for employment with their company. There is not a guarantee that they would hire our employees for positions with the company.
And then we just go back to a market process.
That's what I envision.
Commissioner Meyer?
How many employees?
There's 5 in the city inspections.
Commissioner Trent?
Just a question, John, you received all this information, you're comfortable with the contract?
Yes. 2 individuals have asked to be recognized with their citizen concern form. First is Donna Mayo. Donna, if you'd like to step forward, please give your name and address.
My name is Donna Mayo. Address is 2144 Parslow Drive. I'm also a recent retiree of the city of Muskegon. I'm not in favor of doing business, signing a contract. I've worked with the inspections department. They are some of the finest employees that the city of Muskegon has. They've been here, come in early, stayed late, work vacation days. These are the type of employees you usually want to try to maintain. My concern is also if they don't get hired by this term, who the company does hire, are they going to know the codes that the city has? Are they going to have the experience that our inspections department has? So I'm saying that from the standpoint of a past employee. From the standpoint of a taxpayer, I'm wondering, I'm aware that the police chief is also in charge of the inspections department. That being said, will his wage be cut to reflect that he's no longer in charge of inspections? And if that's not going to be done, I'd want to know why as a taxpayer, because from the taxpayer standpoint, I don't feel the need to pay somebody for work that they no longer do. Thank you.
I have Mr. Bruce Dodge. Mr. Dodge, if you can just have your name and address as well, sir. Thank you.
My name is Bruce Dodge. I live at 90 West Large, Muskegon, Michigan. And I come here and I can understand the problem you have with $176,000 of shortfall. But I guess one thing that bothers me a little bit is I look over the budget. The sanitation department has $141,000. The recreation has $91,000. The cemetery has $173,000. The farmer's market has only $2,000. And it looks like down here environmental services has $248,000. So maybe we ought to outsource a lot more. The problem I see with this whole thing is that the numbers are not going to add up to what you're going to say. Number one, you've got $176,000 loss, but I understand you have a fire marshal that's being charged to this budget. That's $100,000 a year. At that rate, under state law, public act, that should never have been done. You cannot charge the salary of a non-building official person. The only ones you can do is the staff of the clerical staff, your building inspector, your electrical plumbing inspector, and your mechanical inspector. You can't do the environmental inspectors, you can't do the housing inspectors. It is the state law, the public act says you can't do it. So therefore, if we take $100,000 away, you're down to $76,000. If you look at it a little farther, you've got money in there for demolitions. Again, under state law, you cannot deduct demolitions from it. This morning I talked to this Bureau of Construction Codes, and they informed me of what is actually allowed. You know, in the past, you've been taking all this money out of the general fund, so no one's going to get too excited about it. That you're taking it, but you're paying it out, no one's going to get excited. But actually, in essence, if you're not doing it right, and now you're going to take and start making this money, he also told me you can't do that. I don't know if you realize the city of Troy is under a lawsuit right now under the same thing. The home builders are suing him because they get their 20-25%. You cannot do that. The state says the money has to be used for the building department. If there's no building department, what are you can't take that $100,000. You cannot take that $100,000 and put it there. Yes, you can take the $12,000. I'll agree 100%, but you cannot take the $100,000. If you do, all it takes, he says, file a complaint to the state. The Treasury Department will come in and do the audit. So therefore, I really think that if you look at it, the city plumbing inspector also did your cross connection inspection. That was costing the city $38,000, I understand, prior to him doing it. Well, if you take that $38,000 off from that other money, you're coming back down. Your department is really running very close to being what it should be. I work for the city of Grand Haven. We have to do the same thing. We do not take our money is used for the general, from our budget, for our own use. We don't give it to the general fund. And that's what the state law says you've got to do. So I really think if you really do the accounting right, you'd be fine just the way you're at. So I think you ought to really do some more checking on this and before you jump into it, because you may end up not making any money. You may not lose any money, but you're not going to make any like you think you are, and you put employees out of work. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Denny.
Mr. Mayor, I just think it's important to point out that as mentioned, waste management and leisure services have been previously outsourced. This is something that we have had the misfortune of having to do over the last decade as our revenues have dropped from over $25 million to roughly $22 million today. And so there were many departments that were in existence when Mr. Dodge worked for the city that had to be consolidated, shut down, or outsourced in order to continue to be able to provide services to the citizens of the city, given those limited financial realities. Thank you.
I have one more citizen request. Aaron Denary. Aaron, if you just have your name and address, you could hold on.
Karen Bednarik, and I'm a 37-year resident of the city of Muskegon. And I oppose outsourcing and taking away local control of city services. First of all, economically, I worked in schools, and when we outsource, the people might be hired back, but they're hired back at minimum wage. Or they're hired back not at all. And the services, in terms of what is provided for the same cost, usually there isn't a big increase that these people project. And the services are decreased, and you don't have the same kind of responsiveness. I mean, people that we've had in schools who worked for years and years, gave their heart and soul, they were told, sorry, we don't have any money, we're going to privatize you. And if you want your job back, you can work for minimum wage. And a lot of these people couldn't afford to work for minimum wage, and the people that we got, I mean, they're good people, but they're being asked to work and do sometimes incredible jobs, which are unreasonable, but we don't get the same kind of service. And I don't know if you're familiar with the city of Chicago. They were told that if they outsourced their meter readers and sold off their parking meters, that they would make all this money, and they would have, you know, upfront all this money, but actually it's going to cost them millions of dollars, and the city residents and tourists and their guests, the guests of the people in the city of Chicago, have had their the meter readers where you have to pay the meter for longer hours, and they used to have Sundays off and holidays. Now they don't have that, and the city has lost local control in that if they want to have an art fair or they want to have, you know, a music festival and they want to close off streets, they now have to pay this company in order to do that, because the company is losing revenue by having the streets closed and the meters not being read. So as a citizen and as a caring person about the people in the department and wanting to maintain local control, I oppose the proposition to privatize and outsource city jobs. And Larry said that it's not till 2015 that there's going to be this other person leaving the big tax payer. Why not wait till we're at that stage? And Willie said that all of the departments were assured that they wouldn't be losing staff. It just seems like we're adding insult to injury by laying off people at this time.
Yeah. Karen. Any other comments from the commission?
Just looking at the history and what Commissioner Taro mentioned about other departments closing, I mean, it looked like this city commission, well, the city, when it comes to employment and closing these departments, is kind of snowballing. And I think something has to be done where we have to just look at things carefully and maybe wait a couple of years before we make a decision to go ahead and approve the privatizing. I mean, people need jobs. These employees have been here for years, and they're dedicated, they're faithful, and I really don't want to see them lose their jobs. And I think we should do everything possible, regardless of what the circumstances look like now. I don't see a rush to make that decision right now. I think we should think about it and see how things go in the months to come, or maybe a year.
Vice Mayor?
I understand the appeal of that argument. It weighs on me heavily. I've been here while we've lost over 80 employees, not because we wanted to, but because that's just the reality of what we're facing. And I look at two things when I look at decisions like this, which are very hard for me. One, what is our reason for existing as a city? If we look at our purpose is to provide services, to provide a safe, healthy community, that's why people pay taxes, that's why they choose to live here, that's why they elect us to look over those responsibilities. Then our responsibility is to ensure that those services are being provided. that's a little different than being the employer of record for everyone who has to provide those services. The other thing, and I mean, it is what it is, I look to our immediate south at a legislative body that pushed the hard decisions down the road. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter, I don't know the specifics, but I know that hard choices were put off and now they no longer exist. And that is a reality we have to face. That by making hard choices before we're at the precipice reduces the likelihood of having that kind of outcome down the road. I suspect over the next few years we will have to make other adjustments in our budget to reflect what's projected to be our revenue going forward. I didn't even bring up the proposal to eliminate the personal property tax, which is almost 18% of our budget. So, yeah, I'd like not to do this. I'd like to be able to push this down the road. I have the utmost respect for the people who are employed by the City of Muskegon in the inspections department. I don't want to do this, but I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's the right thing to do to ensure that we have a robust inspections department. I think it's the right thing to do to ensure that we are providing the best possible services we can to this community based on the tax revenue that we receive. And I think now is the time to take action instead of waiting until we're in a crisis mode when perhaps we're not making as good of decisions.
Commissioner Turnquist?
I agree that there is a time where outsourcing can help. There are some questions that I heard tonight, though, that kind of tweaked my interest. And the staff has been working with questions like this, and I hope that they feel good about the questions that were asked. The one that tweaked me a little bit, though, was a lawsuit against the city of Troy. Safe Built does have the contract. We know what that's all about. We do know what it's all about.
What's it about?
What's it about?
And you feel comfortable with it.
Talk to us. What is it about? Is it a secret?
Doesn't know.
I'm sure it was online.
Well, yeah, but what did you know?
The gentleman, please.
To the commissioner, I'm familiar with the lawsuit, the intricacies of it, and I'm satisfied.
Commissioners, this is
He doesn't know.
never easy or desirable, especially when you're face to face with the individuals who have been working with us for us all these years.
Turn around.
These are people known to us, people who have been and are dedicated employees. But as Commissioner Spataro said, events begin to change and impact us on a daily basis as an organization. These proposals are a proactive way of dealing with the new realities facing us day to day. And we're not always in control of our own destiny when it comes to funding sources when state legislatures can pull the rug out from underneath. We have to look at the reality most recently that we've had to cut a check to Consumers Energy almost to the tune of $1 million in tax appeal. And for those remaining years, they'll be taxed at about half the rate that they used to be taxed. We've been committed as a commission to find those resources to continue to provide the highest level of public safety and public works that we possibly can. It's horrible to look out at 5 people that you know that could very well be impacted by a decision in the affirmative tonight if we accept this contract. But we also have to be mindful of the other 39,000 people that aren't at the session tonight and what we are obliged to continue to attempt to provide for them. I don't think there's time to kick the can down the road any further. Vice Mayor Spataro mentioned, the precipice or a crisis, and that could be months away. We're attempting to be proactive, to do what we can to maintain the integrity of our operations, the organization. When I talk about the organization, I'm not talking about us just sitting up here. I'm talking about the service that the organization provides to the greatest amount of citizens possible. And these hard choices, these decisions, and these type of initiatives can hopefully continue to help us survive, and down the road hopefully thrive as a city and organization. So it is unfortunate when it comes to looking out at the individuals that I know who may be impacted, and there's nothing I can say in my decision that would give comfort or wouldn't sound hollow or shallow. But I think we need to move forward on this. If there is no further discussion, may we have roll call, please?
Commissioner German?
No.
Commissioner Waringo?
Yes.
Commissioner Turnquist?
Yes.
Commissioner Markowski?
Yes.
Mayor Gowron?
Yes.
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Spataro?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Commissioners, is there any other business? If not, Mr. Jennings, you had a follow-up?
Thank you.
Once again, just for the record, in the paper trail, your name and address.
Okay.
3 minutes.
My name is Robert Jennings. I live at 3553 Marina View Point, Muskegon, Michigan. You know that that's a stone's throw from the deceased CJ. I've appeared in front of the commission several times stating my opinion and requesting action. I'm not doing very well. I don't have a very good track record on this. I tried to save CJs and failed. I'm still waiting from a call from the city manager's office regarding the polling that was done for awarding a no-bid contract for our refuse collection, among other things. They even brought a cardboard box, a bit of hyperbole, if you'll remember, trying to impress you with how important it is to please the citizens and do what's right. I'd like to speak for just a couple minutes then on the Sappy Milching property controversy. Our citizens are not happy. They've come before you with signed petitions. They reflect on the days when people had to do their laundry in Lakeside depending on which way the wind was blowing. And the reason for that is because the particulates that came out of the smokestacks of the paper mill stained the laundry. Couldn't get it out. Now, Ms. Weirdo won't be able to feel too much for this, I guess. But for the men here, being in the locker room at Muskegon Senior High School and changing into uniforms with brown spots all over your undies, makes quite an impression. Okay, I would like to see some positive leadership and some concern on the part of the commission to remedy the situation. Mr. Milching certainly, or the Milching Corporation, has invested a lot of money and a lot of time. They're doing a very good job taking down the old mill. I don't think anyone would complain in the community for their efforts there. They deserve a return on their investment. They did this with the idea that they're going to make a profit, and that should be respected. But please consider the needs of the neighbors of the communities. Yachting Magazine decided that we were way up there nationally on ideal places for boating. People will come here to spend their money for those things, not to see scrap operations. Now, have you ever seen a scrap operation? Go to Holland and observe it there, or Kalamazoo, Michigan, and observe it there. It's nothing pretty. Thank you. So hopefully you can get together and we can make a plan so that everyone is satisfied here. Teach Mr. Milching the value of that property and what we need in the city that he could make a much larger profit on. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mills?
Thank you.
My name's Dan Mills, 1817 Mills Avenue, 2445. Anyway, I'm here to talk again about the Sappy properties, former Sappy property, and my request for information from the city. And just to remind you, back in January when we were hearing all about how the Sappy site was clean, and they're going to bring that smokestack down on Sunday, and this was a Thursday, and bring it down with dynamite, and everything was in order, and I kept thinking to myself, okay, everybody keeps saying it's in order, but I'm not hearing any reference to any documentation or anything. And so I started asking for that. You know, for instance, how much of a bond was taken out? You know, I know there must be an insurance bond. You're going to blow up a smokestack. And I was getting nowhere, so I started filing freedom of information. And you can see this, you know, if you question what really happened back in January. Did the commissioners and everybody really say that it was clean? You won't see it on TV 96 because those videos aren't available. I don't even know why you set your camera up, because there's like 4 or 5 videos of this whole year that are actually can be found online. I've called you, I've sent you emails. I got an email link once that was broken, you know, and I responded to that. There's no record of what's going on here. So I guess, you know, that's why we have to take our own videos. But you can see that it's online. Back in January, asking about where's the documentation, finally coming down to the legalistics, filing freedom of information requests. I was estimated a $300-some payment was going to be required to find this information, do this search. And so I needed to pay half of it up front, so I did. I paid $150. This is on payroll too. And then the response 2 weeks later was, well, actually it's going to cost more than twice that much. It's going to probably cost $750, and you're going to have to pay $300 up front now. And so then I demanded to get my money back, and that was a hassle too, but I did get it back. And then I came into the clerk's, and I asked her help to craft a freedom of information request. And so at her suggestions, then I did ask for permits, copies of permits taken out by the, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just.
Oh, I didn't know you were listening. Okay, thanks, yeah. You watching the clock?
Yes.
Well, thanks, I'm not. I'm still asking for information, you know? And I'm going to keep on asking until I get it. Anyway, thanks to Ms. Cummings, I got this thing worded right. And so then the response was, no, since April, no permits. And how much, you know, was the bond for that smokestack? Well, I got the answer of how much that the inspection department would normally require, and a $20 bill for that lack of information. So I have another document tonight, still requesting, what is this? You watching the clock? You watching the calendar too? Because this is like September, right? Middle of September, and I'm still asking for information. I want to know what permits have been taken out. See, I thought all along you don't have any documentation. All along I've suspected you just, you know, do whatever the money tells you to. And I still do, but I'm going to file another because I don't pay the check for the $20, and we'll keep playing this stupid game. Okay, thanks a lot, and we'll look for you not on TV 96, but on Occupy Muskegon.
Thank you, Mr. Mills.
Are we allowed to respond to any part of that statement or not?
Sir, you are.
Mr. Mills, I think you're totally 100% incorrect.
You've got 1 minute.
You say that the people on this commission said that that property was absolutely clean. You've never heard that from this commission, or have I ever heard of inquisitive questions about when Sappy was running and 180, 280 employees. If it's not clean, it wasn't clean then. Now that it's coming down, there may be some contaminants there, but we have never said it was clean.
Are there any other comments?
Can I bring my projector in next time?
No. Ms. Benaric?
Mayor Bednarik, 3302 Arlington Avenue. And I echo the concerns as far as the safety and full remediation and characterizing the contaminants on the site in terms of a full responsible cleanup of the site prior to any kind of redevelopment. And hopefully, you know, I've talked with Ann Couture and then I talked with Heather Hollings today, and I want to thank the Commission for agreeing to have a Q&A with the DEQ on October 1st from 6 to 7, which will hopefully answer a lot of questions as far as the assurances that they will complete a comprehensive cleanup and characterize the contaminants. So anything that is done further on the site, and hopefully they're not continuing to bring more scrap onto the site, which would be in violation of environmental laws, but that they would be doing responsible cleanup and prior to redevelopment. And then the hearing on their permit request would be at 7 o'clock. So everybody is encouraged to come with their questions, and the city, I imagine you guys are going to be there, and Mr. Melching has agreed to be there, as well as different departments from the DEQ, the air quality, the surface water, and the remediation department. Thank you.
I just want to address something that Ms. Bednarik said about October 1st. That date is the date of a public hearing on a permit application from Mr. Melching, and the purpose of that hearing is to take comments on that permit application. It's not a question and answer session for the city of Muskegon or the DEQ and Mr. Melching. There probably will be questions that will come up and there will probably be answers, but the purpose of that meeting is, and it's been noticed that there is a public hearing scheduled by the DEQ for a permit application that Mr. Melching has submitted.
Excuse me, Brian. I just spoke with Heather Hopkins today, and she said the purpose of the public involvement was to answer questions, and it was regarding the whole redevelopment and remediation of the site, not just in terms of the permit request, because there was such public outcry and so much opposition. The DEQ wanted that, and she said that you, or whomever she had spoken with, and Ann Couture, who's the head of remediation, had agreed to that hour of Q&A prior to the permit, which has a more strict definition in terms of their ability to deny or approve. So
October 1st.
We just got it in writing from the DEQ that 6 to 7 is the time for the hearing.
Hold on. Okay, we'll, if need to, we'll get clarification, because that's not the information that we have. Okay.
Both of them will be the same night, one at 6 and one at 7. That's what we got.
But whether it's that date, there is an agreement for us to have a public meeting.
Right.
Okay. In the interim, the DEQ is fully involved in their obligation to make sure that the former Sappy property is remediated and is taken care of to satisfy. I mean, there was 2 good articles with Ann Couture in the past
Well, I've
3
spoken
weeks.
with her. It sounds like
So, but we'll get clarification.
I can send
but,
you the email that I just got today.
Very good. Vice Mayor?
I was just going to say that, just so everybody understands, that the permit that the hearing is for, that was asked to be reviewed, now it has to go to the DEQ because it affects the water. So these are the loading platforms that are on either side of the existing inlet. That's what the hearing on the October 1st is regarding, is the permit to do that work.
Any other comments? Commissioner?
I just wanted to let folks know that prior to my appointment to the commission, I'm a very active member of the Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership. I'm in fact the secretary at the moment, and I have participated in the past in fact-finding missions as to the degree of contamination of Sappy and just acquiring information. And so I really would ask citizens to please feel free to have an open door with me. And if you have information, my purpose at this time is to make the best informed decision that I can. And so I really would request that people send us information that is respectful but informative so that we can review it and make proper decisions when they are brought to us.
Commissioner. Any other comments from the public? Please.
Shanti Davy, 4380 Happy Point Lane, Norton Shores. Well, I echo the Sappy stuff, and but I feel upset and angry tonight. And I've always tried to address you with love and respect. Every night I pray for you guys for your enlightenment. So but today I'm very upset, and I heard that Roger was surrounded by 2 police officers when he went up to get a paper from Anne Marie Cummings at the work session last night. Now, you know, we have been coming here since November, quite frequently. We are not violent. Dan is a hothead, yes, but you know what?
Hey.
The appropriate response to being disrespected, to having decisions being made that hurt the people, the appropriate response is anger. And I've just had longer in life maybe to bite my tongue, think about it, and then say something in a positive way. But I'm upset about that, and I'm upset that I feel you use the rules and your laws to dampen democracy and to disengage the public and to put fear in the public.
Yay!
It's enough that people come out here to speak. It's hard to come up and speak here. You see, you can hear the quavering in my voice. It's not easy for us to speak to you. So there's already that barrier. And I want to quote some things from Paula Holmes Greeley that she wrote in her paper about, in the editorial, about why the people are disengaged in Muskegon. We have the lowest voter turnout of any county in the state. And so, you know, the fact that one of the things is the public comment. You know, in the past 10 years, here's what she says. All governmental boards in the county also need to review their public commenting policies. Over the last decade, school boards, township boards, city councils, county commissions have adopted restrictive commenting rules that don't allow for open discussion of issues between elected officials and the voters. These rules discourage public comments by establishing a time limit, allowing comment only at the end or the beginning, requiring the speakers to submit their questions before the meeting. And these all are happening of our democracy. And, you know, it's happening on the state level and the national level, but we're not going to let it happen here. We have woken up, and you can see there's more people in the audience all the time. And it's going to continue. It's a new paradigm. People want to speak, and you know what? The thing is, if you build consensus with people, you get commitment. You get a better city. To squelch the public voice does not help you. It hurts you. And it hurts all of us. I learned from Occupy Muskegon. We have a lot of different voices in there. We have even people from the Tea Party who have come to Occupy Muskegon. We have a lot of voices, a lot of opinions. But in talking out our different viewpoints, we usually can come to something that's of benefit to the most. And so, you know, I encourage you, like I have all the time since I've been coming here, to stop using your rules to dampen democracy and invite us in. She goes through a whole bunch of other things too, such as committees. Stop putting all you guys and all city employees on committees. Open it up to more people. You know, and I think she meant the county more than the city.
Right, because we have all citizens and then...
I know, but more. You do see the same names quite a bit.
We've all tried to give people so.
So anyway,
time limit.
What? My time's up?
Almost.
Well, anyway, I will continue to pray for you, and I want Sappy cleaned up.
We want Sappy cleaned up too. I live here in... Last night, Mr. Nye wasn't surrounded by 2 officers. One officer kindly asked him
He
to
most
step
certainly
back.
was, sir.
But anyway, as far as public comment, we always welcome it. Even when particular items are presented and aren't public hearings, if an individual asks to speak prior to a vote, we've always allowed that. Even when we could disallow, we don't believe in disallowing. Okay?
Well,
So we try. We try our best. I'm not debating, but I'm going to stand for us. Now, as far as being available to people and being open, well, let's talk to the people in my neighborhood and other neighborhoods that come by on their bike and stop me while I'm mowing my lawn. Or talk to any one of these commissioners if they're having breakfast at Carmen's. Or Karen's husband who called me on my cell phone at work today. I didn't get to your phone call because I wasn't home. I was on my day job. But we're open. We're accessible. And we take the phone calls, even on a Sunday night. Or we're stopped at the Meijer. Or we're walking through the farmer's market. Because our accessibility is based on the fact that we are neighbors. We are citizens of this city. And when we stand up, our bodies don't end up right here. We're not bobbleheads. And we want goodness for the city as well. I do appreciate your prayers, and we'll need much more of them as the years commence. And those are always welcome, Shante. But thank you. But please appreciate our humanity, our citizenship, and the fact that day in and day out, we work with our neighbors, we work within our neighborhood associations, and we are in it all together. And it may not seem like it when we're making crappy, decisions in the eyes of others. It ain't always easy, but we try our darndest. And
You betcha.
I take a lot of tongues. So, that is all.
And so if you ever need anything to go up to the counter, you just get my attention, I'll pass it off. I'm here to help you out. I'm here to serve.
Don't want anybody by the car.
Yeah, that's the thing, is just during a meeting to approach. She's busy, she's taking notes, she's got her head down. She doesn't know what everybody's attention, so that's why we're here, get our attention. We'll come to your seat.
Do other people know that?
That's what I'm telling you guys now. Usually I just do it on a case-by-case basis. We may get a few of these little theater things so people know how it works. Because, people get nervous.
That's interesting. Nobody else knows this, but we know.
No, I talked to the gentleman last night. We said, hey, just give it to us. We'll pass it on. It's no big deal. You guys, it's good that you're here. You have the right to speak. But we got to keep some kind of organization, that.
What did you think last night? You were going to arrest him?
No.
Well, he says you surrounded him. What happened? I wasn't here.
If we're going to arrest somebody, your hands are like this, and you're in some handcuffs.
Well, that's what I was imagining,
We talk to people.
Right.
You'd have to do quite a bit to get arrested. I mean, it's a public forum.
Was he, did you think he was going to do something? Did you...
We don't want citizens to...
Was he out of line?
We don't have to run around our officers.
Why did two of you meet him?
That's what I want to know. Why?
I said to the other officer last night, we have been to 10, count them, 10 county meetings around, not county, city meetings. Not one police officer. Why is it here now? Is it because you're afraid of coming in, we got accepted, big commotion?
Oh, now that might add up.
Is there something we don't know? Are we in danger here that you know we don't?
You're not in danger. Around where I came from, a small town, 5,000, no different meeting as a police officer. We're just here to serve you. If you feel that if it's nerve-wracking, let me know. Because it shouldn't.
Visitors and they used to go into these little towns all around and they come here and they see two police officers. What are they to think?
Well, normally I'm in the plain clothes like I was last night.
This is the police department in this building. So when they say, the police department isn't right in that building, why do they need two police officers?
Well, I'm supposed to come to earn my money.
I haven't seen it anywhere else.
The city of Maryland, I went to everyone, I was in uniforms like this. At 6 years old, we never had any problems. Only like little things like this where somebody walk up to our clerk, we have to remind them, during the meeting, don't walk up, don't do different business. That's all.
So that's all it was. We're just trying to keep the peace.
No, I'm more like keeping organization.
That's what I mean, yeah.
If you want to speak, that's where you speak.
Yeah, so you just got spooked because of the silver badge maybe or something?
Like we're going to attack him.
The gun?
If you felt that way, I apologize if you felt that way. That was not the intent.
He was really hurt.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah, if you're offended, I'm sorry, because that you shouldn't be offended.
Were you scared?
Well, what else would we have should have been here?
I guess so. Were you here?
Yes, I was here. I can verify it.
Really? Did they scare him? And why did they do it? Was it?
He just got up and he walked over for him. The guy sprang up from here and the cop from over there.
Well, don't cry.
Grabbed him by the arm.
Really? They grabbed him?
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, they did.
They grabbed him? You guys grabbed him?
No.
She said you grabbed him. You're crying. You were scared, weren't you? You were scared, weren't you?
She was irate.
He's fine. He left here. We didn't put a mark on him.
Why? Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Upset. Very upset.
But she feels bad. I don't know.
Why did you do that?
And then
That's why I wanted to talk to you guys.
Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
No. He walked up and got it. We just told him not to. That's all.
You told him not to and he kept on going? Is that it?
No.
I came up here to get a paper.
That's all. So it's nothing. There's no big deal.
Nothing ever happens when I'm around.
Well, let us know the rules. That we can't walk up there.
That's why I asked Ann tonight if it's okay if Dan put that down because she has to keep track of what's going on. We're just trying to focus on the meeting, not on paperwork shuffling, checks going every which way. Hey, we're up here to have a commission meeting, follow the agenda.
I understand
That's why
why
we're
you're
here.
here. Yep. I think it was because he moved something. You know.
Oh.
He did really.
I can't imagine. You know, he's retired from the federal government. 35 years for the federal government, right? I think you know how to act in a public meeting, right?
Yeah. You didn't know our intentions were. We all know now what our intentions were. They were
We're totally fine with you here.
Yeah.
But we need to know the rules. If we can't walk up there, that's all.
And I don't want to post a big rule board. I'll just tell you. Like that phone
now
ring.
I know.
You see me give that one guy a doodle on his phone ring?
Yeah.
When was the phone ring? I was gonna get, but I didn't want to disrupt the meeting. But he looked at me and he got the idea and he walked away.
Yeah.
Hello.
Videotape Mark here. Mark running for county commissioner.
Yeah.
But you have the website, right? Watching this video.
Yeah. Now that's another one. Remember, he's got.
Don't stand me up.
No, I won't.
Let him do it. All right.
Buddy. Thanks.
And call me and let me know if you find them.
Okay, do you know where to send it?
Yes, I have your email. I saved it. Your email.
Thank you. Dan at OccupyMuskegon.net. Thank you.
Dan at OccupyMuskegon.net.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh.
Hi. I see you, Bob. Were you here last night? Did you see Roger get surrounded?
Damn right I did.
Yeah, why are you supposed to be doing that?
I have no idea.
Roger or Judith is convinced they're trying to keep people scared to come in here. They don't want people coming in and talking. Yeah.
But he just offered to, or walked over to get the paper or something to the city clerk.
So they grabbed him, huh?
Those three guys were right on him, right?
Grabbed him. Now, why do you suppose the mayor lied about it?
I don't know.
He did, though, right?
Sure.
He lied about it, right? Why do you suppose the mayor lied about that?
Pardon me?
Why do you suppose the mayor lied about that? There are people here who saw it. He got grabbed last night. The mayor said he didn't get grabbed. He didn't get touched. They didn't surround him.
You know, I saw it. There was one person.
One person.
The policeman got up from the desk, and I don't know what it was about.
Yeah, you don't know what it was about? I know what it's about. You guys don't want people coming in here, so you're going to accost them, right? Scare them. Get them. You see Judy crying over there?
You don't believe that. do you, that we don't want people to come in?
Oh, you're an honest guy, aren't you?
I try to be.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
Well, see?
Yeah.
Don't pick on him. I think he's one of the better ones.
Well,
there with the
I
mayor
don't know how
and
you compare it.
the other guy.
I don't know how you can compare that. You know, complicit participant.
He's one of the better ones.
I've heard enough. Good night.
If we ever stop listening, then we're not doing it.
What you guys planning?